Welcome back to the channel, friends. So today I want to make a follow-up video on the last video that I made about the biggest crypto theft in history ever. $1.5 billion have been stolen from Bybit, one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world. And that's why I thought it's actually a very good time to kind of give an update on what I'm going to be doing with my crypto holdings. Because if you've been watching my videos before, I have a 3-pillar investing strategy. It's real estate, ETFs, and crypto. So these are my 3 biggest investment asset classes, I would say. And crypto has really been growing over the years because naturally it also grew a lot in value. And historically, I kept everything on my Ledger hardware wallet and I felt very good with it. However, like any good greedy investor, we always want to get a little bit more out of our investments, right? So I actually started using Nexo, my crypto exchange of choice. I used them for a number of years and I've been really happy with them overall. Most importantly, why I'm using them is for one specific reason, and that's the interest that they are paying me, which, as you can see, definitely accumulated in quite a nice value over time. It does depend on which membership level you are with them. The more Nexo token, the platform specific token of Nexo you hold, the higher your benefits and interests you get. But I'm actually right now on gold, meaning I have 5 to 10% of my portfolio in Nexo token. I earn interest on my Bitcoin, as I have mostly Bitcoin in my portfolio, up to $200,000, which basically right now allows me to earn 3.5%, but I lock it up for 1 month's fixed deposit to 4.5%. And right now I earn a Nexo token, so that brings it to 5.5% interest on my Bitcoin, which is of course quite attractive when you think about it. You can see that over here, most of my money is tied up in an active term, means I lock it up for 30 months and then it auto renews for another month. And I could obviously stop the auto renewal, which I did now, and I'll speak more about it in a second, but basically then I can withdraw it anytime I wish. And yeah, right now I'm getting, as you can see, 5.5% interest on all of them. If I didn't want to earn in Nexo and only in Bitcoin, it will be 4.5%. And I was generally very happy with that setup until recently, because majority of my funds are still on my Ledger hardware wallet and Tangem a little bit as well. So these are my main 2 hardware wallets of choice. But in the meantime, I did get a bit of passive income every single day paid to me through Nexo, which was of course very attractive. However, looking at Bybit and what happened to them, and as per CoinMarketCap, they were currently the 2nd biggest crypto exchange in the world. So it's not just some hanky-dory scammy exchange, they're a massive player in the space. So for them, losing so many funds due to human error really makes me wonder, how safe are my funds? Because keep in mind, none of the funds you have on the exchange are protected. Even some of them, they might have some insurance in there, but that's a couple of million, most of them holding billions, right? So it's just a fraction of the total amount that is covered by insurance. So when I think about my portfolio, realistically, I have to be honest to myself, well, it's very nice to get a little passive income, right? On my USDT even, I didn't even mention that, I get up to 10-11% interest, and on the Bitcoin, 5.5% or 4.5% if I earn in Bitcoin. Now, as nice as it is, ultimately, I'm investing in Bitcoin to have an appreciation over time, right? And historically, that has been 40, 50, 60%, depending on which time horizon you take. And that's really what I'm investing in for, right? For the long term, to safeguard it and benefit from appreciation. So when I really think about it realistically, am I really willing to risk all of my funds for 4, 5, 6% of interest? Not really, actually, when I think about it, right? Because ultimately the total growth of the asset class over the years has been way higher than that little passive income. And it's nice to have, but ultimately, if I lose all of that just for a little nice to have, it's really not growing my wealth over time. It's like paying off a house that you finally own, you rent it out, but you don't take out an insurance, and the tenant that paid your rent somehow burned down the house. Well, all that little rent you got for 2, 3, 4 years might have been nice, but the major value was in the house itself, right? And that might be gone completely. So that's kind of the analogy for me when I think about my crypto holdings. I prefer sleeping peacefully at night over a little bit of income. Right now, I'm getting around $200-300 from Nexo in the form of interest, which is nice. But ultimately, for me, it's not really life-changing money. And at the same time, I'm really risking quite a bit of my money. If we jump over to my Nexo portfolio, you can see over here, right now, I have a crypto portfolio of over 70K, right? So that's definitely quite a big chunk of my total Bitcoin holding. Now, majority, as I said, is still on my Ledger and Tangem wallet. But right now, it is a big part, right? Definitely, it's not 5% or 10%. It's a much higher percentage. And again, am I willing to put that at risk for a daily interest of $12, $13? Yeah, it's nice money. But again, ultimately, I'm just not willing to risk that much. And honestly, that has nothing to do with Nexo. I think they've done an amazing job. I still love the platform, and I'm still going to keep some funds over here for sure, because they've really been doing a great job. Even a few years ago when we had the FTX disaster and Celsius and all the other big crypto exchanges that went bust, they really did extremely well. And I think they have a lot of practices and safeguards in place, but still there's so many elements to be considered that are out of my control, where I'm fully depending on Nexo or any crypto exchange for the matter. I'm handing over all my money and hope that they safeguard it. And generally, hope is not the best investing strategy. Plus, I think now that North Korean hackers got their hands on $1.5 billion, I mean, crazy money, guess what that does to other hackers or the same hackers? They have so much more incentive to go after other player or maybe slightly smaller player to try other attacks. And honestly, I think it's just a question of time until they will score again. I don't want this to be me, and that way I better be safe than sorry and take care of my own money. So, long story short, what I'm going to be doing with my holding over here, I will definitely trim it. I will not remove everything. I will still keep a little bit on here, but I will take a major part off and move it into my Ledger hardware wallet to really take self-custody, because there I'm fully in charge and fully in control of my money and my funds. And that's why what I'll be doing is definitely, once those terms are up, start reducing them. As I shown you earlier, I'm still locked in 3 active terms, and all 3 will finish early March, 5th, 7th, and 7th. And by that time, I can withdraw those funds into my Ledger hardware wallet. That's why I also switched off to automatic renewal. Otherwise, it would automatically renew for yet another month, but I certainly don't want to have that anymore. So what I'm thinking to do is probably remove most of my Bitcoin and keep USDT over here and a bit of Nexo, because here I'm getting really the highest interest. And if Nexo was to be hacked, anyways, those Nexo tokens would pretty much go to zero, right? So here I'm already at risk. Plus, I'm actually locked up for quite a while, because instead of getting 4% interest, I actually created an active term, one that has been for 12 months. So that will come to an end in November. So then I will definitely switch off the extension of that. Plus, I have another one, 3 months and 3 months. None of them have automatic renewal. So once they stop, I will then think whether I convert those Nexo token to maybe USDT and withdraw it, or to Bitcoin. I will see what I'm going to do with this. But yeah, right now I'm still locked in. The first one ending in April. And then I will definitely use those funds to probably convert it, because frankly, I just don't see a point of moving the Nexo token onto my Ledger hardware wallet, right? As I said before, if Nexo, God forbid, was to be hacked, I generally believe that the value of Nexo token would be absolutely worthless, right? Because people wouldn't trust the platform. And, Nexo token is directly linked to the Nexo platform. So again, I'm not scared of that happening anytime soon. But as I said, better safe than sorry. And I know some of you watching might be saying, Kai, you're overreacting, Nexo is safe. And I totally get it. I'm not saying you have to do the same what I'm doing, but I'm just sharing with you honestly how I'm feeling and what I'm doing with my money. But as I mentioned many times, I really value a peaceful sleep, knowing that my money and funds are safe. So then basically I'll be left with the Nexo token and USDT. And the USDT for me is really very liquid, right? Because if I needed the money, I can super quickly withdraw it into my bank account and I would have it. Plus the fund size is not that huge right now, 7K around. And of course, here I'm getting the most interest. I'm getting right now 11%. Yes, that's paid to me in Nexo, but still, that's very attractive. And in fact, once I withdraw all my Bitcoin, automatically I'll be upgraded to platinum level, because now as a percentage, my Nexo token are way higher, because I'm only going to be left with USDT and Nexo. So automatically going to become a platinum, and then my interest will jump even higher to 11% plus 2% if I earn a Nexo, which probably makes sense for me. That'll be 13% on my USDT. And that brings me back to risk versus reward, because ultimately any investment is inherently risky. There's no 100% safe investment. But as I said, for all my Bitcoin to get 4 or 5%, that risk versus reward just wasn't attractive. If I get 13% on my USDT, well, now all of a sudden it's definitely much more incentive, right? Imagine an extreme example, you would get 100% interest on your funds. Well, you'll be much more willing to take a risk because the reward is huge. If you got a 1% interest on the other extreme, then you would have literally zero incentive to take any risk, because 1% return, it's tiny, right? You get more on your money keeping it in a boring bank account. And in my case right now, when I look at it, what's happening in the markets, potential other hacks and risks that are on the horizon, they would happen eventually. I just feel more comfortable taking the Bitcoin off the exchange into my Ledger hardware wallet while keeping my Nexo and USDT on the exchange for the time being and get a bit of nice interest. And since I have been using my Ledger hardware wallet for a number of years now, I really love the interface, the Ledger Live app on the phone, super easy. I can see on the go how my portfolio is doing, knowing that it's safe, right? That's for me most importantly. You can see over here also, mostly I own Bitcoin in there, and it's super simple to move my funds from Nexo into Ledger. I've done that many times, and that way I'm really in charge and control of my own funds. But I know a lot of you watching are obviously Nexo users and fans of the platform, and I still am, and I'm still going to be using it. So don't feel obliged to do the same. And some of you might be thinking, Kai, you're overreacting. Why are you doing this? And I totally get it. If you don't want to do that, absolutely stick with it. Totally fine. As I said, risk versus reward. Right now, for me, it's too much risk for too little reward. Nexo in itself is inherently a strong platform. I really believe in it. But for me, I'm happy to lose out a little bit on the interest while knowing my funds are totally safe and I'm in control of it. But I'm interested to hear from you. What are you going to do with your funds on Nexo? Are you going to withdraw all the funds, move it across different exchanges? Let me know in the comments down below. Next up, check out this video over here where I'm actually going to show you how simple it is to move your funds from any online exchange to a hardware wallet, the Ledger hardware wallet in particular. Very easy. If you watch the tutorial, you will know how to do it. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay healthy, get wealthy, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.